Alright, hello. I'm going to try and go over graphing sine and cosine and all the types of transformations slash shifts that we do. Okay, so a couple things that we need to know. First of all, period. Okay, period is very important. Okay, period is from where it starts to where it starts repeating itself right here at 2 pi. So this is the period. Okay, this is just the basic sine function, y equals sine of x. This is what we did with the spaghetti noodles and the unit circle. Alright, amplitude, that is how high it is. Since this has nothing here, then that's just got an amplitude of 1. We're going to talk about other amplitudes here in just a minute. Alright, and last is midline. Okay, and that's the last thing that we are going to discuss. So here's the sine function, y equals sine of x. So let's erase what I did with the period. It has a period of 2 pi. Okay, and then we're going to look at another function, and then we will so this is 3 sine of x. So what's happening here is that the amplitude is now 3. Notice it goes up to 3 and it has a minimum of 3. It still follows this and repeats at 2 pi. So the period is still 2 pi. Alright? By the way, this video is going to go a little bit fast. I'm going to try and get through a bunch of stuff. So if it's going too fast, either adjust it on your YouTube to slow it down. If you don't know how to adjust the YouTube speed, Google how to adjust YouTube speed. If you want to hit pause and look at some things, you can do that. Alright? So I'm going to keep on doing that. Okay. Alrighty. Let's look at a third graph. Okay, this is the cosine graph. Alright, the biggest difference about the cosine graph is that the cosine starts off at 1. Basically because on the unit circle, the first point that we always talk about is over here at 1, 0. And this is cosine and sine. So cosine starts off at 1, sine starts off at 0. So its period also, though, is 2 pi. Because the whole way around a circle, the unit circle is 2 pi. Alrighty. So that's just the cosine graph. Just want to show you that it looks just like the sine graph. The only difference is instead of starting off here, it starts off here. This is what the sine graph would look like. But that was terrible. Okay. Anyway, you can rewind to see the sine graph again. Alrighty. So let's look at another graph here. Let's get rid of that and look at another graph. Alrighty. Ooh, 4 cosine of x. Alright. So now we've got 4 cosine of x. So we've got an amplitude for the cosine down to -4, up at +4. Yet again, the period is 2 pi. From here to 2 pi is 1 period. And you can see you get the same shape again. From 2 pi to 4 pi, from 4 pi to 6 pi. The period is 2 pi. So every 2 pi increment, it repeats itself. Alright? So now we're going to look at some other things. So we've seen amplitude shift of a sine. We've seen amplitude shift of the cosine. And we've seen the sine and cosine function. So let's look at another one. Alrighty. Sine of 2x. So note, before we had 2 sine of x. So we had a number 3, it was here. We had a number in front. Now we've got a number in here with the x. Alright? What has that done to it? Okay. Well, note, here is pi. So from 0 to 2 pi, look, it goes through its period 2 times. So instead of the period being 2 pi, when there was just an x, the period is now pi. That's the period for this one. So the period shifted. okay? And we'll talk about this in a minute, but basically, period equals 2 pi over b. We're going to talk about, make this y equals a sine bx plus d. Okay, so we're going to talk about all those. A is what changes the amplitude, b is what changes the period. So note we have a big number and the period got smaller. Alright, so big number and the period got smaller. Alrighty, so now we're going to see what happens when we have a small number. Okay, so now we've got x over 4, and look, the period is now 8 pi. It went from 2 pi to 8 pi. So since now that it is 8 pi, this 4 has made our thing go to 8 because it's 2 pi over b. b is 1/4. We multiply by the reciprocal, so b equals 1/4. So 2 divided by 1/4. Keep change flip. 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 pi is our period. No, look, see. Okay, hard to see with it. And up here. So now we've got a period shift that is bigger when this is smaller. The period shift when it was made the period smaller when this was bigger. Okay, so let me erase this. Alrighty, and I might have to jump through some here, okay? So here's a cosine period shift. Hit pause. Look at this. We've now got not only a period shift where we've got it, where our period is now 2 pi over 3, okay, is our period shift, but we've also got the amplitude shift, all right? So we've got this 3 here is this 3 is what's making this here. This 3 is what's making my period go from, instead of from 2 pi, it now does it 3 times, once, twice, 3 times a period, not 3 times a lady, back in the old Lionel Richie days, or is that Kenny Rogers? I don't even know. I think it's Lionel Richie. Anyway, 3 periods in that. So let's look at midline shift. All right. Okay. Here is, nope, that's not that. Here is a midline shift. So the midline is the last thing. See this plus 3 here? That's what's moved my midline. And I'm going to change my color that I'm drawing with. Okay. To here. See, note this. At 3, halfway between 2 and 4. So this is 3. This is 3. This is my midline. So sine, right? All right. It's going to start off and do this. Okay. And we have a, whatchamacallit. Oh, I haven't changed my thing on this one. Okay. Step. Okay. Pi. Boom. Okay. Sorry, guys. So my we're here between pi over 3 and 2 pi over 3 because it's 4. So my I'm sorry. Bloom, 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 bloom. But anyway, 2 pi. Pause. Okay. My period. First of all, it's my amplitude. It goes up from 3 to 5 and down from 3 to 1. That's my amplitude. It's going up 2. So 2 pi over 4 is going to be a half. So my let me just, okay. No, pencil. Okay. So 2 pi over 4 is going to be a half pi. So my jump is here at pi over 2, even though you can't see that. I could change my steps, but I'm running out of time because this is going to be a full 10-minute video. Okay, so pi over 2 is my period because of the 4. 2 is my amplitude, up 2 from there, and then 3 is where my midline shifted. Go to Desmos,